parents, thank you for joining me for another prenatal yoga video. I'm so happy that you're here, and I'm so happy to be part of your pregnancy and your yoga journey. So a few reminders before we get started. Make sure with your birth provider, with your care team, that you are cleared to do any sort of movement practice. Maybe that's your midwives, your OBs, or anybody that you're working with, your physical therapist. Check in with them to make sure that you are, okay and good to go for a movement practice. I will not be using music for my classes. I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to listen to whatever music you feel works for you, and you can listen to your music instead of listening to my music. And also, I have yet to figure out how to add music that I don't actually own, so kind of works out, right? So sync up another device if you have one, or just listen in silence. Some people like doing yoga in silence, and that is totally okay too. I'm going to be leading you into Shavasana and leading you out of Shavasana. If you'd like to stay in it a little bit longer, feel free to pause this video, or if you'd like to keep it playing through me saying goodbye at the end of this video, you can always turn off the autoplay on your YouTube settings. So this way it doesn't go into the next posture, into the next video. So at any time, anything feels really, really off, since I am not there to answer questions, to give you feedback, since this is a pre-taped video. If there's anything that feels absolutely awful, please stop, listen to your body, listen to your baby. This is definitely not the time to be pushing it, which as pregnant women, or pregnant people, sometimes we tend to do is push through stuff, and we really shouldn't. We really need to be listening to our body at this point. Your body is your teacher, and I am just your guide. There are a couple of postures here that might not be good for you, because either you have some kind of condition that might make it feel worse, like nausea or heartburn or anything like that. So I definitely recommend maybe watching this video in full, maybe watching it a little bit quicker. You can see the different postures that you're doing, and if you have any questions, you can always shoot me an email. And with that, I guess we'll get started. So we're going to start our practice today in a comfortable seated position. The first part of this practice can be done sitting on an exercise ball if you have one. So if it's not comfortable to sit on the floor, you can definitely sit in a chair, on a couch, in a bed, or like I said, on an exercise ball. If you do want to sit on the floor, I definitely recommend rising yourself up a little bit. I am sitting on a bolster that is on top of a blanket that I'm going to be using a little bit later. But you can use whatever you have available in your house. Maybe that's a couple of firm blankets or firm pillows, just to kind of give yourself a little bit of space between your hips and your growing belly. So wherever you are, come into that comfortable position, that comfortable seated position. Maybe your knees are bent, maybe they are straight out in front of you, but wherever you are is just comfortable for you, and you can stay there for a little bit. If you feel comfortable and safe, you can close your eyes or just keep your gaze soft. And start to relax. If you feel the desire, you can bring your hands to your heart. You can bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. With every exhale, just relax a little bit more. Let your shoulders relax. Let your forehead relax. Relax your jaw. And tune in to how you're feeling. Ask yourself if there's anything that you need. Tune into your baby. How are they doing? Are they moving? Can you feel them kick? Can you feel them move? Maybe you feel your heartbeat as it pumps so much more blood through your body to nourish your baby. And remember that at this point in time, you have at least 2 heartbeats in your body. Maybe more than that, if you're carrying multiples. If it's part of your practice to set an intention, it's a thought or an idea to focus on or guide you, I invite you to do so. Take a big inhale through your nose and side out. Do that one more time. Inhale and deep sigh out. If your eyes are closed, you can open them up. If you're seated on the floor in an easy seated position with your legs crossed, switch your legs. So now they're in the uncomfortable way. I just like to try to change things up a little bit. We're going to start by taking some big deep breaths overhead. So inhale, arms come up nice and tall. Reach, reach, reach. And then on your exhale, bring your hands down. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, down. Just keep doing that at your own pace, following your own breath. Maybe it's very deep and long. Maybe your breaths are a little bit shorter. Maybe you're going faster or slower than me, and that's fine. On your next inhale, bring your arms up, preparing for a twist. And on your exhale, bring your left hand across your body, maybe to your thigh or your knee, whatever you have the room for. Maybe you're working around, your growing chest, maybe you're working around your growing belly, or we're just twisting just a little bit. So whatever you can get your hands on is perfectly fine. Your hand is coming behind you. Maybe it just comes to the bolster or the floor, wherever you're at. So it's just a gentle twist. Inhale, and your exhale, just twist nice and gently. For most people, twists are perfectly fine. In pregnancy, your body will tell you when they are no longer accessible. And release. Other side, inhale up nice and tall. And then on your exhale, again, cross your right arm over this time to your left knee, knee, chest, whatever you can work. Even if you've got your belly and you got your arm on your belly, that's fine. Your left arm is going to come either behind you to the bolster. Inhale, exhale, twist in any way that's accessible to you. I'm just warming up the spine, warming up the movements of our body. And release. And we're just going to flow a little bit with that twist. So inhale, exhale, twist. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Just follow your own breath. And just warming up the body, getting a little bit of movement through the spine and the shoulders, which may feel really tight. And when you're ready, after your last round, come back up to center. And now we're going to take a side bend. So bring the right hand down. Maybe you bring it down to the mat with your fingers tented. Maybe you bring it to a block or something that's up a little bit higher. And wherever you are, just bring your your left hand up and over. We're trying to create space through the body, making space for baby as it feels really, really cramped. At the time of this taping, I have a 4-year-old, so it's been quite some time since I've been pregnant, but I do remember quite vividly what it was like to feel everything so cramped. And release. Inhale up nice and tall. Exhale, other hand comes down. Right arm comes up and over. My lefts and rights are not doing so good today. As long as you do each side. Lifting up through the armpit to create space in the side body here. And release. And inhale. We're just going to flow again. Exhale. Inhale to center, reaching nice and tall. Exhale. It helps get the belly off of diaphragm. Helps get your belly off of your bladder. One last up to center, and then bring your arms back down. Do any movements that you feel necessary, feeling nice and loose. We're going to switch our feet one more time. So they're back into the comfortable way for you. We're going to take some seated cat and cow. So bring your hands to your thighs wherever they feel comfortable, and then on your inhale, broaden through your chest, lifting it up nice and high. Chin is lifted, so this is a nice gentle back bend. And then on your exhale, round your spine, bring your shoulders in as much as it feels comfortable. Chin comes down to your chest. Inhale, look up nice and tall. Exhale, round. And just follow your own breath with this movement. Maybe you stay in one or the other, depending on how you feel. Do one more round of your cat and cow. And release back up to center. So now we're going to make our way to a tabletop position, to our hands and knees. So if you are sitting on a bolster, or you're sitting on a couple of pillows to raise yourself up, you can move it to the side, or maybe you can use it for something else. So we're going to come into a tabletop position. So we're going to bring our hips over our knees. Your knees can be a little bit wider if you need. If you feel that's a little bit more comfortable for your hips and for your pelvis, feel free to do that. Now you bring your hands. Your hands are either in a couple of different positions. So you can either have your wrists underneath your shoulders. If it feels more comfortable to have them a little bit wider, you can do that as well to make space for your body. You can also bring them a little bit further in front of your shoulders if that feels a little bit easier on your wrists. You can also come up onto your fists to keep your wrists at a neutral position. And if you have carpal tunnel and you just don't want to be on your wrists at all, you can come down to your forearms. If you have something to rise you up a little bit, that's great. So you can come onto blocks, and this takes your wrists out of the equation. Or you can also use, if you have a firm bolster, you can come onto your forearms. You raise your up a little bit, so your hips are still in a relatively neutral position, and you don't need to be on your wrists, which might feel absolutely awful at this point, because carpal tunnel is no fun. So come to wherever you are. We're going to take those cats and cows again. Actually, cow and cat, but Everything's in ABC, sounds better in ABC order, right? So we are going to do cow, lowering our belly, tailbone to the sky. Exhale, cat. Inhale. Exhale. And just keep doing that, following your own breath. Adjusting as you need. Maybe if you need to get off of your wrists, you can take a break. And when you're ready, come back into tabletop. So we're going to extend our right foot for our stretch in the back of our leg. You can keep your toes tucked, press through your heel. And raise up that right foot. Bring it over your left to the left corner of the mat. You're still stretching the back of your foot, but it adds a little bit of the stretch in the side body. And then bringing that foot up. We're going to bring it out to the side. Directly to the side of us. You can keep your foot pointed to the front of the room if you'd like, or if you need to kind of keep it over at an angle, you can see what feels best for you. This will be a stretch for the inside of our leg. So maybe you can stay here if this feels nice and good, or you can extend your hands out to the top of the mat. If this feels good, you can stay here. Maybe you can start to bring your head down to increase the stretch. So you can just see where the stretch feels best in your body. If you feel like you need to come onto your forearms here, you can do that as well. And this will take a little bit of the pressure off of your wrist while we're in this posture. And when you're ready, we're going to bring our leg back to tabletop. You might want to do a couple of side to sides here a little bit. And we'll do the other side. So extend your left foot out, tucking your back toes, pressing through the heel. Or stretching the back of your leg. And then lifting up the left foot, bring it over to the right corner of your mat. Lifting it up, bringing it out to the side for a stretch on the inside, and then coming to wherever this feels comfortable. You have all the same options. Keeping your hands out, coming to your forearms. When you're ready to release, bring that leg back, hips back and forth. If you're using blocks, you can set them out to the side. So keeping your hips over your knees, we're going to come into puppy. So puppy is a nice variation of downward dog, as you can imagine. So bring your hands out and then bring your head down. This is also a good variation of child's pose. If you feel like child's pose is no longer accessible. You can bring your head to a block here or a pillow. And again, you can bring your forearms down if you need. And rise up nice and slow. Walk your hands back in. Now we're going to come into Malasana. That's our yogi squat. So tuck your toes. Start to open up your knees. Okay? Open up your knees. Your heels are pointed toward each other. And then you're slowly going to walk your hands back. So you're coming up onto your toes. And then you can use your hands to adjust to bring your heels down. Opening up your stance so it's a little bit wider. Now, if this is not accessible to you, you can take a blanket and you can bring a blanket underneath your heels. So this allows you to have a blanket underneath your heels. It allows your heels to stay up. If this also doesn't feel accessible to you, you can grab your bolster or a pillow and you can sit. You can sit down. So, however, this personally feels the best in my body, but those are some of the other options that you have. So you can also use blocks to keep your balance. We're working on hip stretches here. Now for the strength part of this, wherever you are, you're going to slowly stand up, kind of lifting with your pelvis and using your legs. So slowly rise up. Woo. And at any point, if you feel like you need a chair or any kind of help, it's totally fine too. Now that we're standing, we can move all of our stuff out of our way. So we don't trip on anything. So, come to the top of your mat. And we're just going to come into mountain pose. And so for mountain, bring your feet as wide as they need to be to feel comfortable. Maybe that's all the way wide. Maybe not. It's totally fine. Just start to feel nice and strong and tall. Shoulders are down and back. Now we're going to come into Warrior Two. So from here, bring your weight into your left foot as you step your right foot back into Warrior Two. So your back foot is going to be, the outside edge of your back foot is going to be parallel to the edge of your mat. Front foot is going to be facing the front of the room or wherever you are, the front of the mat. It doesn't matter how much you're bending in that front knee. So you can keep your feet out wider for a larger bend, or you can keep them closer together for a shorter bend. If your knee is going over your ankle, try to keep it wide in your feet a little bit. So it doesn't matter how wide your feet are. Hands can be up and straight. They can be at your hips, heart center, a mix of both, whatever feels best. But your gaze is toward the front of the room. Inhale, flip that front palm. Exhale, send that front palm up and back for reverse warrior. Back hand can stay on your thigh. You can take a half bind here if you'd like. And release, back to center. We're going to straighten out that front leg. Might need to adjust a little bit. Maybe you bring your stance in a little bit. So your front leg is going to become straight without locking your knees. Remember that you have a lot of relaxin in your joints, which is going to make you way more flexible than you generally are. The problem with this is you might be going beyond what your body is supposed to be doing, and while that may look great, it's not great for your body. So without locking your knee, keep it nice and straight. We're going to come into triangle. So I like to have something like a block or something to help me reach down below. Inhale, and on your exhale, reach forward, and bring your front hand down. Your right hand will come up, remember, without locking out your knee. You can always bring your hand to your thigh, kind of help you out a little bit of support. If you can come down to the floor, that's great, without compromising. The objective of this pose is a hip opener, so trying to reach the floor but then rolling forward is not meeting the objective of the pose. If your body naturally does that, that's okay, but to compromise the openness just to reach the floor, it's counterintuitive. And rise up, nice and slow. So from here, we're going to turn our front foot so that it's now parallel with the back of the mat. Our right foot is going to come forward. So you might now be working, depending on where your mat is, you might be working facing away from me now, and that's okay, as I just turn from one end of my mat to the other. Rebend the front knee, so now your right knee is bent. Arms are straight out if that's what feels good in your body, or they're at your heart center, or wherever it feels good. Check in with yourself, see how everything feels. Inhale, flip your front palm and send it back. Reverse warrior. Hand can be here on a half bind. And release back to warrior two. Straightening that front leg for triangle. Inhale. Exhale, reach forward. And then I bring my hand to my block to open up. You can always use a chair here if you'd like. Anything that will help you, a stool, anything that gives you a little bit more length in the arm. And release. Back up. Bringing the foot, now bringing both feet so that you're facing the side of your mat. Now both feet are going to be out at a 45-degree angle. We're going to inhale, arms come up overhead, and on our exhale, we'll draw our tailbone down, coming into goddess. You might need to adjust a little bit, open up your feet, put them in a little bit. You bring your hands to heart center. If you want to bring them up high, you can do that, or you can bring them onto your hips, not your hips, your thighs, and you can also do this against a wall if you'd like. And release. We're going to do that one more time. So inhale, arms come up. Exhale. Woo. A lot of balance here. Goddess, bringing your hands wherever they feel comfortable, wherever you'd like. And release. You can slowly walk your legs back in, shake them out. Awesome. And now we're going to come down to the floor into a seated position. So however you'd like to make your way down to the floor, you would like to take a blanket, hold it up to sit on, gives you a little bit of height, takes away the pressure from the belly onto the thighs. I want you to rotate your pelvis forward a little bit. And we're going to start with a wide-angled forward fold. So we'll start by bringing our hands behind us, opening the chest, creating some space. And now we're going to walk our hands forward as far as it's comfortable. You can bring your hands to blocks here or a pillow. Slowly rise back up. Now we're going to bring our feet together. For bound ankle or Baddha Konasana. So your feet are together. Adjust so that you're back on your sit bones. And then again, we're going to bring our hands behind us. Lift up your chest. Create that space. And slowly come forward, tipping at your hips, coming down as far as it feels comfortable. If your knees are up, you can always support them with a blanket or bolster or blocks or anything that you have available. Slowly release back up. Awesome. Extend your legs. You can kind of tap them out a little bit. And now we're going to set up our yogi recliner. So I like to use, I have props. So this is how I like to do it. And you can use whatever you have available, whether it be on your bed or pillows or anything that you can. Anything you can to make this shape. If you are at a part of your, if you are in a phase of your pregnancy where you feel comfortable coming down onto your back, you are more than welcome to do it. Your body will tell you when you shouldn't be on your back anymore. So if it feels comfortable to be on your back, you're more than welcome to come onto your back. So I like to set up my little yogi recliner with my blocks and my bolster, and you can adjust the how high this is as well. I've got my blanket, so if you're using a recliner like this, bring your hips back and slowly come down. So we're going to take recline figure 4. So we'll start by bringing our right foot on top of our left thigh, just underneath our knee. And you can stay here if this feels good for a nice stretch in your hip. If this feels good, you can stay here. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, you can set up next to a wall and you can bring this foot up onto a wall, and that will kind of help you get a little bit more of a stretch. Without having to work around your belly. You can also use a strap as well, but this is one option for you. Next week I'll try to do this up against the wall so you can see how that looks. And then release, nice and slow. I'll switch to sides. So now your left foot is over your right leg, just under your knee. And you can use your hands to press here. Extend your legs out. You can take whatever posture feels comfortable that you feel like you need before you finish up your practice. You can come into whatever posture feels comfortable for your final Shavasana. So if the recliner feels comfortable, you feel free to stay here. If you want a little bit more openness in your chest, you can let your arms hang out. And this helps open up your shoulders, open up your chest. If you want to get a little bit more openness in your hips, you can always leave your legs out long. You can do reclined bound angle. Or if none of this feels comfortable, you can always come into an easy seated position. You can go into your bed or sitting in a comfortable chair or couch. So wherever you would like to be for your final Shavasana is up to you. If you want to skip your Shavasana today, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So as you settle in and you find yourself a comfortable place where you can lie in stillness. Think about your baby. Think about your breath. And if you feel comfortable and safe, you can close your eyes, or you can just keep your gaze soft. You can turn the lights low, you can put on some different music. Whatever you feel like your body needs at this point. I invite you to focus on your breath and just observe it. No judgment, just observe. If you're struggling to breathe comfortably, I invite you to move around and find a position that allows you to breathe as comfortably as possible. I know it can be a little bit hard with your growing belly. There are some postures that make it a little bit easier than others. And I invite you to move around at any time you feel like you need to. Take a deep, slow breath in through your nose. And then exhale with a deep sigh. Just let it all out. Inhale. Exhale, sigh. You can keep breathing that way, inhaling, and then sighing it out. And then with every exhale, let go. Let go of something that no longer serves you, and replace it with compassion, love, and grace. Bring your hands to your belly if you'd like, and send all of your warmth and love to the little person or people growing inside you. Take a few moments to find some stillness among the chaos. Return to your original intention, or set another. You can use a mantra or affirmation. Anything that makes you feel focused and peaceful. If it's comfortable, you can always just focus on your breath. Counting your inhales and counting your exhales. Trying to even them out. You can stay here as long as you'd like. You can adjust as you need. when you're ready, you can start to bring some gentle movement to your body. You can wiggle out your fingers and toes and take a couple of big, deep stretches. If you're lying on your back or even in a reclined position, take a moment to roll onto your side and stay there briefly, just to let all of the blood settle and lessen the likelihood that you'll feel a little bit lightheaded. And when you're ready, you can come up to a comfortable seated position, with your eyes closed, gaze soft, or in any way that feels comfortable. If you'd like, you can bring your hands to your heart, or one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Feel your heart beat and feel your chest rise and fall with your breath. Show yourself gratitude for your practice and for coming to your mat with the sweet soul or souls that are inside of you. Show gratitude to your body for everything that it's doing for you and the little people that you're carrying. I bow my head in gratitude to you for letting me be a part of your journey. The light in me honors the light in you. Until next time, thank you.